Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I bought more XRP and XLM today, and I'm proud of it. I said we'll keep buying them until the forces holding them back let go, and they will let go. Most undervalued two digital assets in all of crypto land, in my opinion. I've kind of been saying that for a long time. That's what I believe. Now, I had some people down there that didn't really understand the XLM side of that. I don't talk about it a lot, but I've talked about it a lot in the past. I'll kind of give you some of it, not all of it, but here's some of it. I believe that PayPal, the PayPal Mafia, the guys that founded PayPal, the guys behind PayPal, I don't believe it, I know it. A lot of them funded Ripple and funded Stellar early on. It's not my opinion, that's the truth, and I can prove it. We'll show you here. Now, this is something else, but I'll show you after this tweet. So this is from TAIG. I had not seen this, but it's cool. Does Elon Musk own XRP? This top 1%. Now, remember, these guys, they talk about everything. They talk about Bitcoin, they'll talk about Ethereum, talk about Dogecoin, but you never, ever hear them talk about XRP or XLM. And that, my friends, is the red flag of red flags. Does Elon Musk own XRP? This top 1% account that holds 17 million XRP has Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and Andreessen Horowitz written all over it, and has my attention. It was activated by Isaac Newton and has deposits from usernames Elon Musk, or it says Musk, Thiel, and Andreessen. So here's the first one. Well, let's see. Wait, let me see if I've got this right. He's got them down here. Okay, this is the one I think he said for Elon Musk, and it shows the 17 million balance there. And if you go down here, it says Musk, and then one of them said Thiel, and then one said Andreessen. So, and we know that some of those guys. Now, he's got a whole thread on this. If you look, OpenCoin was funded by capital firms including Andreessen Horowitz. They also got money from Founders Fund, which is Peter Thiel's fund, okay? So, and then as you go down, you'll see Isaac Newton that he was talking about. See if he had anything else. Okay, and then this is a tweet I did a while back. So look at this. First thing, this is about Stripe. In my last video, I accidentally said Square. I meant Stripe. I knew it started with an S. Anyway, Stripe's investors are Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, the two guys that founded PayPal. It's also got Chris Dixon, who's the guy from Andreessen Horowitz, same guy that Jay Clayton went to form the venture capital working group that eventually got Ethereum the free pass. Go figure. Okay? Now, so what else do we have here? So we know that these guys were investors in Stripe. All right? Well, look at this. This is Patrick Collison, who's the CEO of Stripe, or either is or was. Worth reading. He says, I left the board several years ago, In 4+ years, Stripe has said very little about Stellar in public and has not sold a single lumen. Okay? Now, so go back here. Exclusive online payments firm Stripe takes first step toward blockbuster listing sources, and then it goes right. Then you had this right here. Stripe considered working with Jed McCaleb when Stripe attempted to buy Ripple Labs. After the deal fell through, McCaleb left Ripple. Stripe gave $3 million to Stellar Development Foundation in exchange for 2 billion Stellar lumens, which is XLM, folks. Any net profits from the sale of Stripe's lumens would be returned to SDF. Okay? Now, so that's your direct line. Now, I thought this was funny, so I had to show you. This was a funny tweet. Every once in a while, I'll show these charts that I admittedly don't know anything about how the charting and all works. And this guy was just making a joke out of all the terminology for it. He says, this is probably the most convincing chart analysis I've ever seen. Eat your heart out, blockchain backer. We have a double bottom here's our double bottom right here. We have a cup and handle right here. We have head and shoulders, and then we have a golden cross. This pretty much guarantees we are going to moon. So I thought that was funny. All right. Now, I had given a shout out in a tweet, told everybody they needed to follow, and you do. You need to follow at TAIGXRP. This guy works his butt off and provides all kinds of great information. He's really helped with a lot of the different pieces of evidence that have turned up from having to do with the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. And then John Deaton had given him a shout out too, and he thanked us both. And John replied, and I love this. He says, it's called decentralized justice. And that's the great thing. I've met John Deaton since this all started, but I didn't know him. I didn't know him from Adam. He was just some guy that was an attorney that sued the SEC. I know TAIG through direct messages and on Twitter, but that's it. That's the beauty of this thing, is all of us had a common cause, but we came from completely decentralized, from different walks of life, did not know each other, and it's just people that saw something being done that wasn't right and felt like they had to help do something about it. It's as simple as that. People are sick and tired of a government that doesn't listen to its people, claims to protect its people when they're doing the exact opposite, a government that doesn't listen, ignores the people, and then tries to act like they were either incompetent or whatever. Like, for instance, what I'll show you in a second. Tom Emmer, when Elad Roisman announced yesterday that he was going to be stepping down, or he's basically quitting, Commissioner Roisman has been a dependable voice in the SEC for rational investor protection without impeding growth. Thank you, Elad, for your service to the American people. And then Tom Emmer took a shot at Gary Gensler. Now, this is not something you see very often, folks, which tells me that Tom Emmer is getting sick and tired of the mess that he's seeing out of Gary Gensler's SEC. Gary Gensler had tweeted this. He was welcoming this guy on board at the SEC, and Tom Emmer retweets his tweet and he says, "Thanks, Gary, for protecting investors from crypto, the best performing asset class on the market. You are really helping Americans buy homes, save for college, and plan for retirement." Well, I decided I would, as long as Tom is out there on Twitterland, I thought I'd see if we could get his help. I said, hey, Representative Emmer, as long as you're here, can you report this to the FBI, the Justice Department, and the SEC Inspector General? When this is finally exposed, nobody will be able to say they did not know, the way they did with the Madoff case, okay? And I played you this video. I'm not going to play it again. That's the guy who was the whistleblower on Madoff for years, and the SEC ignored him. And then let's look at this. Now, this caught my attention. Because James Phelan, from what I can tell, is a very straightforward, serious guy. He reports things that are going on in the case, the legal aspects of things, but he doesn't go out on a bunch of limbs or anything. So when I see him, which he said yesterday, come out and say, I think the SEC is in disarray at all levels, I take him serious. And then he goes on, he says, I don't see the White House rushing to fill this Republican vacancy. I won't go into all that, but this really caught my attention, that the SEC is in disarray on all levels. I couldn't think of an SEC that deserves more to be in disarray at all levels. And here's one of the reasons. Check this out. This is a video that was found. This was Robert Kusami, former head of enforcement at the SEC, who's in charge of those ethics on the back end, right? He's asking who's in charge of those ethics on the back end. And I said, I don't think this guy gave Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman the memo. So listen to this video.
Services industry, and you get that by attracting people from the private sector to come in and work. If you want that, if that's desirable, then you can't restrict their ability at the back end to go out and make a living. You can't bar them from going back to work in the industries that they're from. What you can do is impose very strict ethical and recusal restrictions on them when they leave, yes, which is what the SEC has. I can't appear before the SEC for a year after I left under any circumstances. I can never appear with respect to, or be involved in any matter that I had personal and substantial involvement with. I cannot appear in any matter that was in the supervisory chain that was under investigation while I was there. I can't receive any compensation from my law firm that's derived from matters that I might otherwise be recused from.
Oh, really? You mean like what Bill Hinman did?
This is all under threat of criminal sanction. That's not to mention, bar association and ethical restrictions that are imposed on the legal profession.
You know what?
So there's a great...
Maybe it's time for us to file claims again with the American Bar Association against these guys. The SEC won't listen. Congress doesn't seem to listen. The Justice Department, none of these people seem to want to listen. Maybe the American Bar Association needs to look into Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton. Maybe that's the solution. Just an idea.
There's a great number of restrictions. And the last point that people, I think, don't appreciate it is that when people work at the SEC or the Justice Department and go work in private industry, those people are ambassadors for compliance and lawfulness, that they can walk into the CEO's office and say, I used to work at the SEC, I used to work at the Justice Department. I'm telling you, if we do this, this is what may well happen. And that person has credibility and stature in a way that others may not. And so they carry a greater deal to bring about that good point.
All right. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, speaking of, we know that we had one watchdog organization, Empower, that was filing Freedom of Information Act requests and then sued the SEC. Now we have another one that's jumping in the game, and TAG was making them aware of it. Do you think you have what it takes to dive into the financial story of our century? SEC officials conflicts of interest and received millions by turning their back on the public. If you think you're ready, check it out. And he's making them aware of all this, and they actually replied and said, okay. I don't think they have any idea what was going on. Okay, and then next we have this. This is very interesting. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I wanted to play it towards the end. This is Rob Gensler. This is Gary Gensler's brother, and Stefan Huber found this. At the very end here, he talks about a phoenix rising. What he's talking about here, I think I watched the video once. As I recall, he's basically talking about how the Googles and the Amazons, they eventually rise out of all this new tech, and he thinks that at some point they will rise. Whatever comes out of blockchain, that's ultimately the ones that are going to be the Googles and the Amazons are going to rise like a phoenix. Listen. If I can get him to play. Look how much like Gary he looks.
5% yet. I don't know whether you should own Amazon stock or not. I'm not trying to say that. But or all of global advertising, that's what's Google, wow, and they're a disruptor. Okay. So maybe Bitcoin becomes the utility that some app resides on top of. That is, and it becomes ubiquitous enough in 10 or 15 years. And I actually think something will happen. It's just will wow us all that we hadn't even considered. But it's in the second phase, not in this first phase of hype, disappointment. And I don't think we're anywhere near the disappointment. The disappointment takes years, and then all of a sudden, like the phoenix from the ashes, it rises up again. And it's once the...
There you go. Okay, I wanted to finish with this. This HODL pack showed up today, and they said they're building a tool for crypto community to give directly to candidates in 2022. We're raising money to quadratic funding machine pool to amplify those donations. Now, I have a problem here. I am all for supporting the funding of a pack for crypto, but here's the problem. This is the problem that we've had in crypto, and it needs to be addressed and has not been yet. All of these so-called, and I lay it out here, to this point, most of the these people that have put themselves out as industry trade organizations for the crypto industry, most of them, including the Digital Chamber of Commerce, have not even voiced any support for Ripple in this SEC versus Ripple since the very beginning of it, okay? And so I have a problem with that. Most of them are very Bitcoin, Ethereum centric, and that is not representing the crypto industry. That's representing Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything that revolves around it. So unless this new organization wants to weigh in and express that they are in support of the Ripple and XRP, not just these Bitcoin and Ethereum related companies and things like that, then no deal. They need to voice it. Just like I keep saying, the Chamber of Digital Commerce, they haven't said a peep. Perry Ann Boring from the Chamber of Digital Commerce, not a peep of support for Ripple that I've seen. And if I missed it, I apologize. If I missed it, show it to me. But I haven't seen them weigh in one time in support of Ripple and said one thing out loud or in a tweet or anywhere in support of Ripple versus the SEC. And so we don't need another political organization that's just going to be for Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's not what's needed. So they need to let us know, and I'll be glad to help them send people in their direction if they want to weigh in there. But until they do, I have to assume that they're another one of these Bitcoin, Ethereum that holds themselves out as a crypto industry leader or group that's for the whole industry. Haven't seen it yet. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that it never has been all about Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's what the marketing machine wanted it to be about, but it's not true. Thanks for listening.